For somebody like me who has never, let's say, heard about EFT, if you have to explain EFT in a very simple words, how would you do it?
It is a self-help stress reduction tool.
So generally when people come to you, like what kind of common problems they come up with?
Anxiety and stress.
How EFT is different from other healing modalities?
They do not take emotions as the core from where they would like to start.
You are also talking about that lifestyle disease like sleep problems and diabetes and BP and hormonal imbalances. All of these can also be healed.
Yes.
If it is so important, like as you said, emotions and every disease, all these discomforts are connected back to emotions. Why do you think like people are not giving it enough attention?
Nobody has taught anyone that emotions. Even I did not know till I learned EFT.
So what are some common emotional blockages you have seen people holding back?
People are not able to handle their fears.
And what about shame and guilt? These are also very powerful emotion I've seen.
Guilt and shame are the very strong emotion that take you down very badly.
Some young students I've seen, they have very low confidence. What do you think is the emotion holding them back?
When a person is not confident enough, the emotion is I am not good enough. There are some words that a person continuously uses. I won't be able to do it. Nobody loves me. People ignore me.
So when you talk about getting the inner clarity or inner happiness, for a normal person, how does it feel to have inner clarity in his day-to-day life?
The normal person will feel really empowered, very strong from inside. Doesn't have to depend on others for decisions.
How does this emotional healing connects to career or business performance?
What we are looking for is the outcome is productivity. जैसे अर्जुन ने तीर लगाया था, सिर्फ आंख देख रहा था मछली की. Your focus exactly goes that way when the emotions are not around you. That is what is required when you are working for someone or you're working for yourself. If you don't take care of your emotions will take care of you.
Hey everyone, welcome to this podcast. If you are someone who has ever struggled with stress, emotional blockages, lifestyle disease, or low energy, and you have tried different things but still you are not able to overcome this, then you must listen this podcast till the end. I am joined by Vanda Bashin, India's leading EFT trainer. She has been helping leaders, entrepreneurs and working women break free from their emotional blockages and reclaim their inner happiness using completely natural technique called Emotional Freedom Technique or EFT. In this episode, we will dive deep into how EFT works, how emotional wellness is the missing piece in productivity and health, and how by tapping into your energy system you can actually get real transformations in your health and productivity and in life. So hi Vanda, welcome.
Thank you for welcoming to this podcast.
For somebody like me who has never, let's say, heard about EFT, if you have to explain EFT in a very simple words, how would you do it?
So when I talk about EFT, it is Emotional Freedom Technique or tapping, and it is a self-help stress reduction tool. That's the simplest way we can talk about it. And it is a combination of the Eastern acupuncture plus Western psychology. And it is more about, tapping on the different parts in the body.
Okay.
So there is a tapping sequence which happens, and once you follow that tapping sequence, the body starts to feel calmer. And EFT is so powerful that in 1 hour of tapping, it has been scientifically measured that it reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, by as much as 41%.
Wow.
So that is how EFT is working. And definitely EFT, clinical EFT I would say, is not as much prevalent in India as compared to US, UK and Australia. There people are extensively using it and getting really good results into all of their issues, whether they are physical, mental, emotional. A lot of people are getting results. And the finest part of EFT is that if it is cleared to the bottom, the problem never returns back.
Wow.
Yep.
So generally when people come to you, like what kind of common problems they come up with?
So the most common problems that people recognize these days is anxiety and stress.
Okay.
But besides that, people come up with, like, they are having problems in productivity issues. They might be having problems like back pain. They might be having problems like, some people also come with certain traumas. So there is a mix of people, but yes, on the surface, what people understand is I have anxiety, I have stress. So that is what they come up for. And when I start working with them, we actually get into the actual problem. Where is that anxiety and stress coming for? Are there multiple issues which are contributing to it, or is it one particular issue? And then we can delve deeper into that, talking about their relationships, talking about their current health issues. Stress and anxiety, the first thing that it impacts is your gut health. Your stomach is the first thing which is impacted, and then it travels to the rest of the system.
Okay.
So starting from, so when we start tapping, the first thing that eases out is the stomach, and definitely the fear and the anger, everything calms down, and you're able to reach to the right perspective of the problem.
Okay.
So getting down to the roots of the problem is the most important thing which EFT helps with.
Okay. So what I'm able to pick it up that, one thing is that EFT is able to dive deep into the problem, and it is able to recognize it from the deepest part,
Deepest
from where
part.
it is originating.
From where it is
Okay.
originating.
Okay. Other than this, how EFT is different from other healing modalities?
All the other healing modalities, they do not take emotions as their core, I would say the core from where they would like to start.
Okay.
Like yoga focuses more on the physical body. Definitely yoga has its results, meditation has its results, all of them have their results. But EFT is basically taking all the three realms. Basically it takes the physical realm, it works on the emotional realm, and it also works on the mental framework. So basically, if we actually can see the brain waves, we will find that EFT is able to change the patterns in the brain. The
Wow.
thinking process changes. So once the thinking process changes, the emotions change, and the physical body also change. So it works on all the three levels for a particular person who actually starts to work with EFT.
So what I'm able to understand that EFT works on all three levels, and other healing modalities generally they cater to either one or two of the
Yes.
realms, right?
Yes.
And it is able to.
That is what the general public understands.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So, can you share one powerful transformation you have seen in someone's life using EFT so that I can understand better?
Yeah. So there was one person who was living in Lucknow, and he came up with the issue that I am having fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is a very serious disease where the joints and you can't even, if it gets serious enough, you can't even walk. You have to crawl and you can't sit. So I asked him certain questions. I said, is this a diagnosis from the doctor? So he said, no, that is not. And slowly, as we tapped into the first session itself, he realized that it is not fibromyalgia, it is a back pain, he was troubled. And once we started working on that back pain, he recalled where he had fallen on his back.
Okay.
So since he had fallen, and because of that, we worked on that particular event. What was the impact? The event itself, the VOKG we say, the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory aspects, we worked on all of that. And along with that, how his entire life was impacted because of that incident. So what was the impact he was taking? How was he mentally thinking about it? So we worked on all of those issues, and within 5 or 6 sessions, his 10-year-old back pain just left.
Wow.
And we are still connected. He hasn't got it back again.
So you are able to generate this kind of results for so many people, is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Once you are there and you start to work on each aspect of the problem actually goes away fully.
You mean to say that all these lifestyle diseases, these can be healed without medicines? Is it possible?
Well, yes. Why? Because I say so this. It is possible depending on the different aspects that can be covered. For example, I myself had slip disc, and slip disc is an autoimmune disease.
Okay.
So the doctor says, the allopathic doctor says that we don't have any cures for autoimmune diseases. They are beyond our medicines and everything. So for me, the slip disc was like so strong that I was not able to walk. I was bedridden for 6 months. And it did not happen once in my life, it happened 2 times.
Oh.
It was so severe that next time again I was on bed for 4 months. And being on bed is the worst thing that you can experience. You know, when you cannot do anything, you cannot travel, you cannot do your job, you cannot look after your kids, and you have to tell everyone to stay away from you, because if you get a jerk, you might not be able to go to the washroom even. It was that severe. So those were very traumatic times for me, and slowly I actually moved into different. I tried different healing modalities. It was like acupressure, the massage, Kerala Shantigram massages. All of them had their own impacts. But yes, when I came into EFT, that was the time I started seeing results coming in. And yes, now I know that somewhere I felt that some support is missing in my life. So the emotion was that I am not supported.
Oh,
So since I felt that I am not supported, because of that, the slip disc persisted. And when I worked on that I am not supported thing, that belief that I had in me, it went away.
wow.
And it has never come back after that.
So you mean there is a very strong connection between this emotions and chronic illness?
Yes, there is a very, very strong. Basically, while doing my clinical EFT practitioner courses, I realized that when we were being taught that 85% of the disease comes because of our own emotions.
Oh,
So, and 15% is the role of the food. Definitely, food also has a role. I can't keep on eating burgers and pizzas and French fries, and then I'll say my slip disc is not going to come back. No, definitely, I have to take care on that level else. But yes, emotions are actually guiding the energy system within the body, which is we call it the chi in China, we call it prana in Hindi, and that prana that is flowing through the meridians in the body, it gets restricted by the negative emotions that we keep on holding. Somebody hurt us 10 years back, and we are still thinking about that person has hurt us, that person has hurt us. So these emotions, they get stored in our body. Somewhere in the body they will get stored.
okay.
And that particular organ will start to mellow down, stop its functioning, slow down its functioning. Even in our world we are told that a disease like cancer, it's the body is crying out loud that I am in pain, please listen to me what I am trying to explain. Even the cancer, we say, is body is just shouting out loud. It is making the loudest noise possible to tell you that I am in pain, please listen to me.
So cancer is also related to this emotional blockage?
Yes, cancer is also related to the emotional blockages, because cancer, the most prevalent emotion, if we say, is this resentment. Life has been unfair to me.
Okay,
Life has been unfair to me. My parents have been unfair to me. It could be anything.
okay,
But yes, the most prominent emotion is that someone has been very, very unfair to me. So it starts from a particular point. Okay, this person was unfair to me, and then slowly, all the things that the person sees around is everybody is unfair to me, and finally the life is unfair to me. So that is how cancer is also an autoimmune disease told by the doctors, and they say yes. Again, allopathic doctors, they will try to do all those things and give in chemo, try to remove the body parts and everything. But yes, if we look into the emotional component of cancer, a lot of it gets dissolved.
so you mean to say that if on a cancer patient, if your techniques are getting applied and they are able to overcome their emotional blockages, then they will be able to overcome the cancer?
Yes. Again, here, what I would like to emphasize is that if the person is at maybe stage 1 or stage 2, where there is no threat to his life,
Okay,
so we have to be very careful also that the person is not under the threat, that his life is under threat. Then we won't go into saying that you just stick to EFT and don't take the other advice. We will complement it with those medicines that are going in, so that the life threat is not there.
Okay.
And rest, if the things get slowly cured and slowly dissolved, because this is not going to be a magic wand, okay, we raise it and it will go away. It is going to take its time. So in that time, we would not like the person, to go into a life threat. So that is the reason we will ask the person to complement this, so that the set of emotions that cancer brings in. Now, one is the reason that there is an emotional blockage which the person has. The other is
Right.
the disease itself is going to bring a lot of chaos in the person's mind.
true.
Uh,
Fear.
fear, what is going to happen, what is my family going to think, what are others going to think. So all of those things also impact the person. So we take care of all of those things, and then yes, the person recovers very quickly.
That really looks very interesting to me.
Because I had one cancer patient with me, and he was undergoing the treatment, and I understood how painful it is, even going through the chemo sessions and everything. And I realized that while going through his chemo sessions, it was really painful. And so I gave him certain tapping scripts to go on. I gave him certain techniques that while he's there admitted in the hospital for chemo, he can do all of these things which will help him. So he tried, and then yes, after 2 or 3 chemo sessions, after doing all of this, he came back and told me the burning sensation that I used to have while chemo was given to me has gone away. It is no longer there. And now yes, he is back in his office doing a lot of innovations, getting promotions, and thriving in his life.
Wow. So you must be feeling really proud after helping such kind of patients with these kind of results?
Yes, and he had also lost his mother, so that was also very painful for him, having cancer, losing his mother.
Multiple emotions.
Multiple emotions were there, and I actually felt that I could help him and I could bring him some blessing, so that at least he has some solace in his life, so that he can move forward.
Great. So other than these chronic illnesses, you are also talking about that lifestyle disease, like sleep problems and diabetes and BP, and like these kind of challenges, hormonal imbalances, all of these can also be healed with EFT?
Yes. For example, if I take sleep, I have worked on my sleep as well. I also had insomnia issues, and working with other people, I've realized sleep is more about that the person does not feel safe.
Okay.
And not feeling safe. Safety is the most basic survival instinct which a human being is wired for. And if you're not feeling safe, then definitely sleep is definitely going to go haywire. So working on that, we reached to certain memories where the safety of the person was compromised.
Okay.
And then we work on that safety issues, whatever it was. After working on them, then sleep is definitely resolved. And yes, hormonal imbalances are all about, stress and anxiety in the body. So once the cortisol in the body is disturbed, hormones get imbalanced. So to get the balance back, you have to release the stress and anxiety and live a calmer life. And definitely that will restore the hormonal balances as well.
Wow. So basically, all these lifestyle disease, chronic disease, all of these disease, you are able to trace it back to emotion, which is there stored in their body.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes. The emotions, the most basic fact that everyone misses is that emotions get stored in the body.
Now that is fascinating. Like that every emotion gets stored in the body, right?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody at the age of 40, 45, that means he has emotions stored from last 40 years?
Yes. And that can, and normally the body is wired to, to be alert to the negative emotions.
Okay.
That if there is anything which is happening incorrectly, the body is more tuned to that. So for remaining positive, we have to train our body.
Got it.
Because of the brain structure that we have, we are more tuned to the negative part that happens around us.
So what about positive emotions?
So if we look at the current environment, everything around is stressful.
Okay.
And so we are all covered with that negative emotion in ourselves.
Okay.
So how I say is, I don't know how much the people will understand, but if we consider ourselves as a soul,
okay,
and the soul is meant to be peaceful, happy, calm, loving.
Right.
That is our internal property.
Hmm.
But when we are in a body, living in a body, so the body is supposed to take care of its safety, about the love, about the caring, nurturing. So when the body does not get all of this, so the body acquires all the negative emotions, covers the soul with that.
Okay.
That everything is negative around us. And those internal happy emotions get locked inside. We look for external triggers. Okay, I'll buy a car, then I'll be happy. I'll buy a house, then I'll be happy. I'll get a promotion, then I'll be happy. but we are supposed to be happy from inside always.
True. That is
Always. The soul is supposed to be happy from inside always, but then when the negative emotions surround us, we are always dependent on the external triggers. And that's where EFT comes into picture, helping you to decode all those negative emotions, their messages, and be happy from inside.
What kind of daily shift people experience once they start practicing EFT?
So EFT we also call tapping. So they tap for say 5 minutes in a day and they say then EFT is not working, it's a fad. So it's not that way. Consistency definitely matters, but it has to be somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes at least
Okay.
every day if you do it. So the first thing that is going to happen is you're not going to be stressed.
Okay.
If a stressful situation comes in and you are already in the calm state of mind, so once you see the stressful situation, you will try to find out a solution rather than get stuck by those negative thoughts.
Right.
So definitely if you are not having stress, then cortisol doesn't go up, your body is functioning properly, your immune system markers are improving, you are happy. So that is how daily if you do it, you are inviting less problems for yourself, you are inviting less negative thoughts for yourself.
So these looks like really great benefits on daily basis.
Yes.
So then, if it is so important, like as you said, emotions, and every disease, all these discomforts are connected back to emotions. So why do you think like people are not giving it enough attention to those emotions?
Nobody has taught anyone that emotions, even I did not know till I learned EFT, that emotions are going to play such a big role in my life. I had never thought. I was also
Even by like top people, high achievers, people in top domain, top tier of the success, even like it is ignored there because these problems are everywhere, right?
right.
So you mean to say like at every level it is being ignored, like every kind of society?
People, what I have seen in the coaching industry, yes, big names like Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Gabby Bernstein, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, they were using tapping.
Okay.
Because they realize the power of the emotions, how they bring you down, the negative emotions, how they bring you down. So even if you attend many of their sessions, I have also attended, I have seen them using this technique.
Okay.
And they definitely know that emotions are the ones that are going to bring you down, and they do teach it to the audience that they have.
Okay.
So it is that, but yes, if I talk about people who are in the general category, nobody knows, nobody thinks even emotions can be so disastrous. Nobody knows, nobody has been taught. This is an important life skill which every school, every college, everyone should be knowing, that being in stress is not the solution. You have to be calm, connected from inside, and then only you can thrive, you can grow, you can be resourceful, you can be focused. It's like basically you can manifest what you want.
So I'm able to understand that like emotions are generally ignored by majority of the section of the society.
Yes.
And you are saying predominantly reason is it has not been taught, and so not in schools and everything, and even in society there is nothing much happening at a social level also.
Right.
It's not happening.
Right.
Okay. So what do you think, like if we have to, or if you have to do a massive awareness campaign, where let's say you want to reach to like everybody, like hypothetically let's say that you have to reach out to everybody, where everybody gets aware about it, do you think people can solve their, as you said, 80 to 90% of their health challenges all by just doing EFT? Do you think so?
The health challenges that have come in because of the prior problems before they start EFT, definitely there they'll require help.
Okay.
But once they start EFT, they will not get more of them. That
Okay.
means more will not start to cling on them, because once you have a single problem, you start with a problem. Like I started with slip disc, and slip disc, say I went into insomnia, I went into low BP, I went into other problems as well. Maybe
Okay.
my arthritis also started. So once you get a problem, you attract more problems for yourself. So if you start EFT, at least you will pause new problems from coming in.
Okay.
That is the first thing that you can do as the first step. And definitely the rest of the problems, some will be small, some will be big. Definitely by tapping regularly on a consistent basis, their magnanimity, their strength will definitely be reduced.
So as coming back to the same question, that if you have to reach out to these many people, like what you will do? How you will reach out to people? How you will create this massive awareness? about emotions and their repercussions?
So, massive awareness can be created if I can reach out to the schools, to the colleges, and to the different corporate sector people. So, basically, I would prefer that schools and colleges, start to bring in this into their wellness programs, into the mentoring sessions, into the orientation programs, so that they can understand. Because if we are looking for a stronger nation, for a stronger corporate sector, the foundation is coming from there.
True.
And if that foundation can be taken care of at the classroom level, we can bring this EFT, then definitely things are going to be different. We are going to get a totally different generation. Already the generations which are coming are very emotionally intelligent. They are much more intelligent than what we are right now. And if we share them this tool, then the stress they are accumulating by trying to handle so many things together, they will not get into that, and they will take us all to a very different level.
So, based on your experience, because I have seen that you have been attending few schools and colleges and even some corporate, awareness programs, what do you think is the awareness level, let's say, not about EFT, but let's say about people, their personal emotional baggages and emotional blockages, all of those things. Out of 100, let's say how many numbers you will give it?
Maybe 5 or 6 out of 100.
That's it?
That's it. Even, people are like, when I went to a corporate training recently, so someone commented, Raat gayi, baat gayi. So that event was over. Why are you asking us to, take into consideration all of that? So I was a little surprised. I said, yes, you are right. But let's see if your body is giving any sensations to that event. So then he said, okay, let me try. He was like very reluctant and very hesitant to go ahead with it. So then, but he tapped because the entire team was tapping. And once he tapped, later on when I was leaving, he came back. He said, you were right, that the body has stored. I first felt it in my neck, and then it came to my arm, it shifted there, and now I'm feeling better. I'm feeling lighter, I'm feeling good.
Wow.
So people are not even aware that whatever they stress, whatever the feelings that they feel, they are definitely getting stored in the body.
True. So, like the awareness is really very low, as you said.
Very, very low.
Okay. So, what are some common emotional, blockages you have seen people holding back?
People are not able to handle their fears. That's
Okay.
the biggest one.
Okay. Fear of maybe anything.
Anything. Fear of heights, fear of fear of closed spaces, fear of flying, then fear of being successful, fear of being unsuccessful. It could be anything. Fear of
Okay.
giving a presentation, fear of being in front of the boss, fear of asking for a promotion. So fear is actually the biggest blockage, and followed by anger.
Okay.
So people want to control their anger.
Yeah, that is a normal.
The word is controlling the anger,
Control.
but I say, why do you want to control the anger? Anger is telling you that someone has hurt you. You are feeling hurt from inside. Address that hurt. Why did it come? Why did you feel bad about it? What was so disturbing in that? What is the message that the anger is coming up with? Understand the message, it will go on its own. It's something which is there to bring you a lot of help to understand yourself more.
Right.
People don't want to understand themselves more because it means they'll get overwhelmed, which means that they will not be productive, and that is why emotions are the last thing anyone would like to consider.
Okay. So, one thing you said fear, another emotion you mentioned anger. What else?
Sadness. Again, if there is a grief, you would not like to, experience that sadness, because everyone says be positive, be positive, be positive. So if you are sad, people will say, go out for a party, go out and have a drink.
Yeah, change your environment.
Change your
something.
environment, something. But that sadness is there within your body.
True.
And if it is there within your body, maybe today for some time you will be able to throw it off the
Right.
system. But it is there in the system, it is going to come back wherever it wants to. And normally we say sadness impacts the lungs, anger impacts the liver, fear impacts the kidneys. So
all of these emotions are actually directly
somewhere,
hurt
yes,
somewhere.
with they will get associated with some of the body organs. Not necessarily exactly the places I'm saying, but yes, when people have seen it, so they say, like Louise Hay, she says that yes, these are the places. She has actually mapped the various diseases to the various body parts
Oh.
and the emotions that we are feeling because of that.
And what about shame and guilt? These are also very powerful emotion I've seen.
Guilt and shame are the very strong emotions
Yes.
that take you down very badly. They
Right.
are in the lowest in the ladder,
Okay.
and they need to be transformed into something, maybe anger, maybe sadness, but guilt and shame should not be there in the system at all, because they can cause havoc in the system.
Hmm.
Because if for example, I have seen, where women come up and say, I don't like being a woman, I'm shameful of being a woman. So then you will find those kind of women will have a lot of diseases related to femininity. All of these related to PCOD and all those things come because you can't accept yourself the way you are. So that is the impact these kind of emotions
So,
have.
like some young students I've seen, they have like very low confidence. Like they just cannot even look somebody in their eyes. What do you think is the emotion holding them back?
When a person is not confident enough, the emotion is, I am not good enough.
Okay.
It's like, I won't be able to do it. So they are like trying to hide away, trying to shy away, so that they don't have to face it.
Hmm.
So they just want to just backtrack on the steps, and they don't want to face it. So if they don't want to face it, the confidence is not going to come.
And the reason might be because like others have told them that they're not enough, or
Yes.
their own failures in the past.
Yes, it could be something as simple as that. Maybe they stood. They were in the first standard. The teacher asked them to recite a poem, and he fumbled. The student fumbled somewhere, and everybody started laughing, and there the belief started to build. I am not good enough. And now the energy flows where the focus goes.
True.
The student thinks I am not good enough, so he will get 10 more instances that he is not good enough, and then that 10 will bend into 100 more instances, I am not good enough, and slowly he will carry his life like that. That is how the patterns build.
Okay. And where do you connect the mental illness? Like today I'm seeing, and even I was reading an article that WHO says that mental health challenges are like the new pandemic, and every 1 out of 3 people either he's suffering or he's going to suffer very soon because of some mental illness. Where do you connect it to through your, with AFT, where do you connect it, which emotions?
So if you know that in a day a person thinks 60,000 thoughts,
Right.
so if you are allowing those 60,000 thoughts to run, you are not under control. And basically when you are not under control, there is a part of the brain which disconnects you from the conscious part. So if I have to explain it through the brain model, how this mental illness is actually forming, it is basically, this is the hand model of the brain. So I have the reptilian brain, which was the brain when we were there in the jungles. Then I have a brain which is connecting the conscious brain which we have today with the reptilian brain. And so what happens is, when we are under stress, when we are under anxiety, so stress and anxiety is something which is the top player these days. So the moment we stress and we are anxious, there is a disconnection which happens. This part is the midbrain, and there is a disconnection which happens over here. The reptilian brain and the conscious brain get disconnected, and we keep on struggling here in the emotional trauma, and that is what goes in the head then, and we are not able to consciously think what is the correct action that we have to take, because there is a disconnection which has happened in the brain.
Okay.
Yes, scientifically this is the reason why there is so much mental illness that is going to happen, because you are in that emotional state, spinning of the thoughts in the head continuously, and you're not able to consciously take a decision and move out of it because of the disconnection between the three brains.
Some people call it overthinking, right?
Yes, some people call it the
overthinking, like
yes.
they're thinking and thinking and thinking,
thinking.
but they're not taking action.
Yes,
Right.
that is because the conscious brain and the reptilian brain that was supposed to be connected. The reptilian brain tells that yes, you are safe, you can take an action. It's okay for you to take an action. So this disconnection keeps you in the overthinking realm of thoughts, and you can't take a conscious decision. So who is going to take action? The conscious brain.
Right.
So that brain is not functional at all. So then the action is not going to happen, and you're going to be stuck in that state of depression. Whenever a person is in depression, we ask him to go out and take a walk, but then he says, I don't want to.
True.
If we ask him to do some physical exercise, I don't want to. So the action part goes missing, and that is the reason of mental illness.
So then what is the solution for that person?
Again, we have to connect back that overthinking, we have to remove that. What is the reason that overthinking is happening? Again, something is happening in his life which needs to be taken care of. So when we tap on that something, now the connection between the brains will establish and the person will be able to take action. Because that safety element which that went missing is reconnected using EFT.
Okay. So, but then it can be solved through EFT. That's what.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay.
EFT is actually going to connect the amygdala, which is sending the smoke alarm, raising the smoke alarm, and it shuts that alarm. It shuts off the fight or flight response.
So can somebody realize by themselves that they have maybe an emotional wound, like open in their life or something like that? Like, can they realize it all by themselves?
Again, there is no education on this, so it is very difficult for a person to realize. But what I have seen is there are some words that a person continuously uses.
Okay.
Something like I won't be able to do it, nobody loves me, people ignore me, people betray me, मुझे तो धोखा ही मिलता है. When you are using all those kinds of words, that definitely indicates there are some emotional blockages which are working within you.
Okay.
And by watching those words that you are using, you can get through that. Yes, there is some emotional blockage that is there inside you.
That wording is also connected to like being victim. Like people will feel like they are victim.
Yes.
And blame. They will blame other things for their situations. Like the same kind of language I have seen people which are like, if they are always blaming, they also use the same kind of language.
Yes, they'll criticize themselves
And blame
they'll
others
blame
for the
others
situation.
for blame others.
And as you said, like
They don't take responsibility
Exactly.
of their situation. They just put the blame on others.
So, is there an angle of or the different perspective of that? Let's say that person is in the comfort zone and don't want to take the responsibility. Can that also be an angle, or there is a definite unresolved emotion there which is stopping?
No,
it?
definitely it is a comfort zone also, because nobody wants to feel their emotions. Feeling them is really tough. Would you like to feel sadness?
No,
Would you like to feel hurt?
no, obviously no.
So you will just shut them down somewhere. Nobody wants to feel those emotions, and when you don't want to feel, you will not address them.
What I want to ask that, let's say for one person there is an emotion and he doesn't want to confront it. Another person, he might not have an emotion, but he's just lazy in his comfort zone and he just want to blame others and situation and don't want to do anything about his life. Or how do you differentiate, or like how we can say that okay, somebody is really struggling with some emotional problem, or somebody is just lazy and he's not able to take
So
responsibility.
the person who is lazy doesn't want to take action, that's all. He wants to stay in the comfort zone because staying in the comfort zone is good. You don't have to change.
Yeah, exactly. And that this person is also somewhere in the comfort zone only, where he is also not going ahead and.
Yes.
So when you talk about getting the inner clarity or inner happiness, for a normal person, how does it feel to have inner clarity in his day-to-day life? How he will start feeling, if he gets that inner clarity?
The normal person will feel really empowered, very strong from inside.
Okay.
Doesn't have to depend on others for decisions. Will be really relaxed from inside.
Okay.
And that internal compass which guides you into the right direction will be so strong that you will be feeling, yes, I can take the right step. This is the right step which is coming from me. And that clarity, because you are not in that emotional cloud of thoughts,
Okay.
because thoughts are all moving around us
True.
and there is a cloud. So just as we see that word cloud which comes on all the quizzes, and there is one dominant feeling. So
Right.
so when you are when you don't have that emotional cloud around you, that word clarity is always there, and you know what is the next step to take, and you will be able to take action. Normally people get stuck, they don't take
True.
action, because if they take action they will know it is right, it is wrong.
Wrong.
So I know what is the next step, but taking that action itself is very difficult because you are in that emotional cloud of thoughts.
Right, right. Now I'm able to relate to it. So this, how does this emotional healing connects to career or business performance?
So when it comes to career or business performance, what we are looking for is the outcome is productivity,
True.
some innovation, something nice we are able to innovate, and something new we are able to create.
Right.
Everyone is looking for this. So again, and how will this be possible? If you have come from your home in a very after a fight, will there be any productivity? Will
I
there
think
be
no.
no? So if that emotional drama inside you is not there, you will have a lot of focus, you will have a lot of concentration power, you will be able to think out of the box, and your productivity will definitely improve, because the mindset is now something very different, which has a lot of focus, which has a lot of clarity, which is like the same way जैसे अर्जुन ने तीर लगाया था, सिर्फ आंख देख रहा था मछली की, तो आपका your focus exactly goes that way when the emotions are not around you, and that is what is required when you're working for someone or you're working for yourself.
Right, right, right. So in the same lines, can you share an example where you helped somebody who was maybe struggling with some performance or productivity, and then after using EFT you have seen some results?
Yeah, so there was this girl, she was there in working in Noida, and she was like, she just got married, and then she was not able to do anything in the office. She used to go to the office in the morning hours and sit there and order food and then come back home. And because of that, again, she was having some internal struggles related to her relationship issues, which these youngsters all have these days, and they get stuck in that, and they're not able to come out because they're not able to express those emotions which are happening within them, not to the family, not to the friends, and they're just stuck within themselves. So this,
Right.
she came to me with all those things in her head that maybe I'm going to lose my job and this. So we started working on all of these things, and soon we realized it is the relationship issues that she's having at home were impacting her office work. And as soon as we started resolving them, she has really become productive. She has done a lot of certifications now. I can see a lot of certifications coming from her side on LinkedIn, and she's even going to ask for a promotion. So that is how she has been actually, she has been rewired now to go ahead into something new, something better. And she's not afraid of the change that is going to come now. She knows that she can traverse the change more easily as compared to what she was doing earlier.
So what I'm able to see that she was, so you were able to identify the pattern that was like related to more about relationship, that's why it was not happening, and then she was able to overcome it, and then she started performing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was about, let's say, performance. How about leadership? Like how being emotionally resolved, or like somebody who do not have that emotional cloud what we are talking about, how does that help into being a powerful leader? Like people at the high performing, roles or leadership roles.
So again, if a leader does not have a clarity of thought for his team, then definitely the entire team suffers, and the leader, when he's not able to guide. So we are looking for that the leader should be able to guide his team, give the correct guidance, take them into the right pathway. So when it comes to EFT again, how will the team work when there is a lot of trust between the team and the leader? And how can we build that trust? So trust again is there if the leader listens to what his team is telling. And then according to the experience, so you have to be a effective listener to become a good leader. So if you are not an effective listener, so with EFT, when the cloud is not around, the emotional cloud is, he's not going to judge what his peers, what his teammates are telling. He will listen to them. He will see what ideas are workable. He will give them suggestions. So a trust will build around, and the team as such will grow and reach to different heights, may have more innovations, have more creativity, and that is how it can help the leaders as well.
Okay, so now I can relate to it. Like, it is needed at every part of your life, personal, your professional business or career, even in the smaller jobs, even in the leadership roles. Like, this is going to be helpful for everybody, right?
Right.
If you look at different age group of people, can you mention like what kind of emotions are predominant in that age group? Like, let's say up to 25 years. What do you think are the emotions which are like very much predominant in that in those people, and what kind of problems they are going through? And then maybe 25 to maybe let's say 45, and then 45 and above in 3 age groups.
So, if I look at the age group till 25, that is a very energetic age, and they have problems related to those boyfriend girlfriend problems. That is the most predominant that I have been seeing till now.
True.
And it is so strong that even suicides are committed to that level.
Yeah.
That is one thing, and rest, that definitely if they are into dysfunctional families, the fights between parents, the children have to at the younger age they have to start working so that they can earn, they can support their family. So those kind of things are there till the age of 25. After 25 and to say 45, it's all about again now relationships.
Okay.
Relationships play a very, very strong role in everyone's life, because after that a lot of changes come in the lives.
True.
So many changes are there, and you have to look after your job, you have to look after the family, you have to look after your kids, then the schooling, and life just explodes after that.
Right.
So then it becomes the emotions that are again there is more that how to manage. The work-life balance is very tough at
Okay.
that particular age. So work-life balance, taking care of the family, all of these things are predominant in that particular age group.
And what challenges, like problems, health problems, do you find mostly in that age group because of those?
So there the people start with all those problems, especially related to the bones.
Okay.
Then they will have these throat problems, thyroid problems. In females I've seen they will have these PCOD problems, all the problems related to the sexual organs, they will have a lot of problems there. And this is how the struggle actually goes on.
Lifestyle disease?
Yes, lifestyle diseases are there. Somebody will start to have BP. I've seen people having fibromyalgia, asthma, all these things start to develop. Insomnia. These things start to develop in.
And people from let's say 45 age plus, what do you think their emotional baggages are?
People 45 ages plus, their emotional baggages are not very different from these age groups. But yes, the disease is stronger in them. The pain is stronger in them, because it has developed after so many years.
Yeah, because of these many years.
These many years. So the things are really strong, whatever comes up in them. I have seen people having fibromyalgia as well, and yet people are not ready to address it. Chal raha hai, chalne do, it's okay.
So on these lines only, where you said chal raha hai to chalne do, why people are so reluctant, or why people generally say these lines that I don't have, let's say, time, money and effort to actually focus on this inner work or these things? Why is that? And what is your message to those people who says that I'm too busy to actually work on it?
So people, they use this because again it is very hard to feel your emotions, and if you ask them, first thing, they don't expect that emotions have something inside the body. They don't expect this at all.
That is the first stage, let's say ignorance.
It's an ignorance. It's a shock to them, and once they do EFT, it comes as a shock that what is this?
Okay.
Can this also happen? Is this magic? What are you trying to do? How are you saying? And the basic thing that they find is it is actually happening in their body. Because finally once they do the session, they realize they are feeling so relaxed, so calm. So they realize, yes, stress was holding too much in them. It was taking away their peace, it was taking away their joy, and they were just using all the energy to suppress it.
Right.
Instead of suppressing all that energy, if they would have used that energy, to feel good about themselves, to feel focused, to feel resourceful, to feel empowered. That energy could have been used in that manner.
Right.
But they used it to suppress their own emotions. So all these things is something which people don't want to acknowledge.
True.
What they want to do is blaming others is easy.
Right.
So go to the doctor, medicine layer, it is not working, it's the doctor's fault. They don't want to take things in their own hands, that they don't want to feel that empowered, I can do it myself, because it is going to take time
Right.
and effort, and maybe if they need help they will also require money, so they don't want to do it.
So there are three levels what I am able to see. First is awareness, where that person does not know that this is a problem. Second is the ignorance, where people might have some idea that this might be the issue, but they are not able to ready to work on it, right? And and what is the third? So awareness, ignorance, and I think these are the only two, because once they start working, it will start happening.
Yes.
So what are the two different messages for these two different kind of people from your side? Like somebody who does not have any awareness, what you would like to say to them and to other?
So there is only one message: if you don't take care of your emotions will take care of you.
Okay.
They definitely will take care of you.
That's a deep message. I hope people get it. Yeah. Okay. So now coming back to so you gave a lot of insights, and now I am able to relate so many things. That how these emotions are so much interconnected. How this particular thing became your life work? I want to know something on those lines.
So as I told you, I was suffering from slip disc, and I was starting exploring things, and yoga and meditation was something which was inbuilt in my system. I knew about all of it. Meditation I was doing for a long time, but I could not get the results that even my pain could subside for some time, but it did not go away. I was like, I want something which will just, somewhere there was a seed inside me, I wanted to just go away totally.
Right.
I didn't want it back in my system. So that is why I kept on exploring things. I worked with Louise Hay. She's an author, and she works on emotions a lot. She gives a lot of affirmations. So I did mirror work with her. I tried angel work. I am a pranic healer. So I know about the chakras in the system, how chakras can be cleansed, how they can be energized. Again, all of these work, they are fantastic systems built. But once you leave them, after some time the disease comes back.
Okay.
So that was where my problem was. And then I was reading this book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. There I realized that everything starts from a thought. These thoughts create feelings, and these feelings then create a response in your body. So any of these systems was not working on my thoughts. I am not going to heal them. So EFT actually works on that thought level. It changes your perspective from inside out, and that is where the disease actually goes away, because your thought process is changed. It's very important to change that thought process.
So that's why you decided to continue with EFT. And
yes, that's where my thoughts started to change about myself. I started to accept myself as I am. I started to understand why people are behaving in such a manner. I started to decode my own patterns, why I am using those words.
Right.
So when all of those came in forefront, so I was like, oh my God, what I have been doing to myself. And then I said, yes, if this is helping me. And there is another thing. I went for those Kerala Shantigram massages. I went for this acupressure things. All of these come with a lot of pain.
Okay.
So there is a lot of pain associated to release all those emotions, and you don't know what you are releasing. With EFT, I know what I am releasing. There is no pain that I have to go through. It's very easy. It is very simple. And there are no restrictions. It can be done anywhere, anytime. And it's very flexible. So that was the reason I was so fascinated by this technique.
Wow.
And the fascination journey has been so strong that, I have been, now I've become a EFT coach myself, trying to, bring this message to people that your emotions are the ones you need to take care of, and rest of the things will definitely happen on their own.
Great. I've seen you doing aggressive work in last couple of years, like, doing training sessions and webinars and, these challenges, and you have been attending these group, school, colleges, meetings and conferences, all of that. What is your like what kind of transformation you want to create in a society, like let's say in India, and what do you expect, how much you will be able to do it?
So basically, I want to I'm on a soul-led mission, to help people feel empowered, peace and calm, break, and it is not for the faint-hearted people. It is for courageous people who have the courage to look into their past and break their patterns.
True.
And that is why I think I have a vision where I want a very strong India, and the foundation comes from the families. If a family is a strong knit unit who is communicating well, who is understanding, who is nurturing, so that strong family as a unit will be able to create further units which will actually build a strong nation. Because I have read somewhere, Master Torkom Sardya, he says, family, if a strong family is there, then only you can have a stronger nation. If the families are broken, dysfunctional families, the nations are going to break sooner or later, whatever be the time. So I want people, at least one person in the family, to be knowing EFT and to be able to regulate himself. So one person doing it will definitely bring a change in the entire family, and the family becomes a stronger unit, and slowly the people surrounding that family will become a stronger unit, and it is going to be something like a ripple wave impacting all.
So where do you see it happening in the next few years, like this whole industry, wellness industry, or like, because there are other healing modalities also.
Yes.
And even let's consider that different people are trying different things. Still, if you look at it from a holistic perspective, where do you think it is happening in next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
Yes, I think the alternate healing modalities are really strong in this era. Had it been in some other eras, people were termed as witches and they were burnt and all those things were done. But this time of this age in which we are living, all of these modalities have been given a free hand to be used and to be helping other peoples. I think another 5 years, a lot of people will be actually understanding that the basics, the foundations of their own health, and that health has to be in their own hands. It is in your own hands. Every person is very, very unique. You have a unique structure. God has given you everything unique. So you need to take care of your own self. Nobody will understand you better than anybody else.
True.
You have to understand yourself more, and the more you understand yourself, the more aware you are about yourself, the more you will grow.
Super. So what do you think, I mean, what is that one thing you wish everybody know about healing, so that they don't have to go to costly hospitals, or maybe surgeries, or maybe all these where they can actually do a lot of things at home, and they can make themselves healthy? Like, let's exclude 10% of the some other kind of disease, but still where they can manage themselves.
So the best form of self-care, what I think, is just learn more about your emotions. The more you learn about them, the more your energy system will not be blocked. These emotions are blocking your energy system. Otherwise, we all have sufficient energy inside us to do all the work that we want to do. But we are blocking our energy channels by thinking negative, by bringing in negative things, by carrying the past with us.
So you have given some powerful insights about that how important these emotions are, and how all of the diseases are connected back to emotions, and how these negative emotions are stored in our body. Right. And then and we can actually overcome majority of these diseases if you work on that, right?
Right.
So so let's say somebody wants to connect with you, want to learn from you, then how they can connect with you? Let us know about that.
Yeah, so I am running my 2-day challenge, Anxiety Buster Challenge, where we do certain experiential activities, and the results that you get is real time. That means within the same session you will be able to find the difference from where you started and where you have reached, and the link is there in the description below, so you can join the challenge and have an experience of EFT.
Perfect. So guys, if any one of you is struggling to overcome any of your health challenges, stress, anxiety, low confidence, low energy, lifestyle diseases, any chronic illness, anything, and you have been trying to overcome it, but you are finding it to overcome it. So if you are trying to overcome it but it was difficult, then I'm giving the link in the description. Go ahead, check it out. She's doing 2-day challenges, and these are very powerful. So go ahead and experience it. Experience the power of EFT, that how actually practically it can change your life. Okay, amazing, Vandana. So we have covered a lot of ground on EFT on those lines. Now I want to do a quick, I call it rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you some 12 to 15 questions. Quick questions, quick answers, nothing much to think, just whatever comes to your mind, one-liners. Okay?
Okay.
Amazing. So, one word to describe your journey with EFT.
Fantabulous.
Okay. The most underrated form of self-care, something people can do which can give them a lot of results, but they're not doing it.
I think what they can do is they can try EFT.
But maybe they're not aware about it, so they will do it now.
Yeah.
After this session. Okay. Your favorite daily ritual to stay grounded?
Walking barefoot in the park.
A book or teacher that shaped your thinking?
Louise Hay.
One emotion you have mastered and one you are still working on?
One emotion that I've mastered is my inner peace, and that I'm still working on is my anger.
Most powerful moment you have witnessed in a healing session?
The most powerful moment was when I had touched my eye with something burning, with a medicated oil, and with tapping, I thought it was a physical issue, but with tapping, even that healed.
So, coffee or herbal tea to recharge?
Herbal tea.
What do you tell yourself when things get overwhelming?
It's a phase, it'll go.
One health myth you wish people would stop believing?
That anyone else can take care of their health.
If not EFT, what you would be doing today?
Maybe I would have been bedridden with more problems.
Okay. So, okay, this or that kind of questions, okay. Meditation or movement? What do you prefer?
Meditation.
Early morning or late night?
Early mornings.
Logic or intuition?
Intuition.
One-on-one healing or group work?
One-on-one healing.
Okay. Breath work or EFT?
EFT.
Journaling or voice note to express emotions?
Journaling.
Inner peace or outer success?
Inner peace.
Nature retreat or spa day?
Nature retreat.
Okay. Book reading or music therapy?
Book reading.
Okay. Past healing or future visioning?
Past healing leads to future visioning.
Okay, great. Couple of questions, okay, just to finish this up. What is that one thing people get completely wrong about this inner work? What they do not understand, and that's why they are not able to do it?
The one thing that they completely get wrong is that they think emotions are something which are not tangible, you can't touch them, you can just only feel them. So they think that there is nothing here in this realm of emotions, nothing is there, it's not physical, I can't see, I can't touch, so there is nothing there which these things can do actually. But it is actually contradictory, it is totally the opposite. It's actually the power lies right here.
Right.
And to experience your power, you actually have to get in touch with these, and which no one wants to.
Right.
Because to feel your own emotions is really, it takes a lot of courage. It does
It
take a lot
takes, definitely.
It takes a lot of
definitely
courage.
So, if let's say, if you have to give 3 questions to the audience who is watching this, what they can ask to themselves so that they can start understanding their emotion better, which are these 3 questions you would give them?
So I would like people to first, whenever they are going through a tough situation, they need to pause first. And once they pause and take a deep breath, then they should ask themselves what is happening, and be an observer to whatever is happening. Just take yourself out of the situation and take that situation as a movie in front of them, and then see what is happening, and then they will have a lot of answers which will solve their problem, and which will also not emotionally entangle them in that situation. So they need to be need to pause for a second. That pause is actually the answer to all things that are going to happen further, because that pause means you are going to respond, you're not going to react.
So when I said that, what are the questions they can ask? So maybe the question is that is it real, or or is it imagination? something like that?
No, it's actually real.
Okay.
It's always real. If we put it into the imagination category, that means we are again shooing away the emotions. Dur raho humse.
Okay.
But that doesn't work that way. So it's like, please pause, just look at the situation objectively from outside. You are an outsider to that situation.
Okay.
And when you do that, that is when you will get a better answer to that situation, to that problem, and you will be able to walk out of it in a much better manner.
Very good. So the question can be that the question can be that I'm not in the situation, I'm outside the situation. Maybe
Yes,
something
where
like
I
that.
am right now.
Where I am exactly, yeah.
So where I am, you ask that question, where I am. So then, if you still see yourself in a situation, that means you need to project it on a movie. Just as you see a movie, you take yourself out, see it like on a movie theater, and then ask yourself, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
And then you will get the answer, what can be done about it.
Very good, very good. And I think one more question can be always useful, which I have seen. We are very good with giving suggestions to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we are not able to implement.
Right.
So maybe you can say that, what if this same situation is happening with one of my friend?
Right.
What advice I will give?
Yes. What advice will I give to my friend? Yes.
And then I think the same advice they can give to themselves in that situation. So I think that becomes very, very powerful. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So we had a very, very powerful conversation. And what I am able to understand from all of this, that healing, when it comes to healing ourselves, it's not about symptoms. Okay, there is a deeper reason for all the problems, and we should look at those deeper reasons, and then we should try to heal ourselves inside out.
Right.
That's, I think, the best approach, as you have suggested.
Yes.
And you are a subject matter expert, and you have already given description for your today's challenge, where more people can come and learn from you. I think this was amazing discussion, and as you reminded ourselves that once we fix certain emotions in our life, all other things will get fixed. And no matter who you are, okay, if you are a housewife, working woman, a leader, a working professional, no matter who you are, there are problems which are related directly back to your emotions, and you can lead a happy, powerful, successful life if you really take care of them. So thank you, Vandana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all these amazing insights. And I hope that your message gets across to multiple thousands of people. People understand their emotions, and then they are able to work on it. And then we are in the process of creating a healthy society.
Right.
Thank you, Vandana.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me for this podcast. Thank you so much, Saurav.
Thank you. See you next time.